And one that I want to make for you today is something that was really a recipe that was created by a friend of ours, Gracie La Puma, and she was a friend of my grandmother, Galasso's. And now it starts again with some yeast and water, and here I've got about 2 tablespoons of dry yeast in 2½ cups of warm water, and I've let it proof just like I did before. And now I really wanted to save this recipe, Gracie's recipe, as part of my own cooking tradition, and so I called her one day and I said, Gracie, I'd really love to have that recipe that you used to share with Grandma. Some Italians call it a volcano, and really this is the old way of making bread and rolls and pasta. And so here's my well. And now this goes in here, but we have to add a few more ingredients to this. And Gracie loved to put anise seeds in, and here's about 4 tablespoons of anise seeds. So that goes in. And then some salt, about a tablespoon or so, and pepper. And now this really threw me for a loop because I remember these as being very tangy. I said, how much pepper? Oh, as much as you want, 4 ounces. I say 4 ounces, that's an awful lot of pepper. So I put in as much as I want. That's about a tablespoon. And then here, about a tablespoon of olive oil. And I think that's all of it. So now you want to mix that up, you see. And now you got to hold your breath because this goes in there. And now, if you were a little skittish about doing this, well, you could do this in a bowl. But I think that this is a great way to keep tradition alive. So I'm going to try it this way. And now what Gracie would do, you see, is start to bring the flour into the center from the outside wall. And then you want to put it into a greased dish. But first I've got to wash my hands here. Got to get this off my fingers, otherwise I'm not going to be able to play with that dough. And now back to that dough. So now when you have your ball of dough where you want it, you see, then you want to put it into a greased bowl and let that rise. So that looks just about right. So now I've got to get out a bowl, and I want to put a little bit of olive oil in there, just the way Gracie would have done it, you see. And she may even be watching me do this, you know, because I don't know if I told you, she's 92 years old, so she comes with a lot of stories from the old country. So there, put it in and then get the oil over the top. And then, again, I like to put plastic wrap over mine because that keeps the heat in the dough. And then set it aside. And you want to let that rise, for about 45 minutes, at least until it's double. And then it'll look something like this. You see, this is very nicely risen now. And now I can take this out and put it on my floured board. But now I've got to move out some of this flour because I didn't need all that. But of course, Gracie never did say exactly how much to use. So there, you see how wonderful that is. It's just very light and fluffy. And now I can really work this with ease. And it's just a very soft dough to move. And now you can do a number of things with this, but I remember Gracie always bringing this over as small rolls. You can just take off pieces, you see, of dough like that and form them into rounds. And sometimes she made them into oval shapes. So form them into rounds, and now a bunch of dough like this is going to make, about 2½ dozen of rolls. So you can make rounds, or you can make little oblong pieces. And I think it's nice to have just a combination of the various types. And sometimes she even made them into twists. And then after you get them on a sheet like that, you see, then what you want to do is brush them with a little bit of egg. So here's an egg that's just been beaten up with about a tablespoon of water. And you just want to give that a nice light brushing, you see? Just like that. And then you can add some sesame seeds over the top. So this has got all kinds of things in it now. And then you want to take those and let them rise again, about 15 or 20 minutes. And when they're risen, you see, they'll look something like that. And now they're ready to go into the oven. So you want to put them into a 375-degree oven, for about 15 or 20 minutes, just until they're nicely browned. And then, when they're baked, they'll look like this, you see? You see they have just a very nice hard crust.